But this Hard Knocks episode in series with the Chicago Bears, I think Hard Knocks, the training camp one, we're all kind of desensitized to it. I think we see social media clips, and we kind of know these guys from all their other content, that what Hard Knocks did was certainly innovating, groundbreaking, and trailblazing, but we've seen it all before. So what is Hard Knocks good for if you want to watch? Well, obviously access that you can't get anywhere else, but you learn about these players.
Yep.
You learn about players. And last night, the Chicago Bears, I feel like there was a showcase of a few of their players that are top-end guys, and that's Jalen Johnson and DJ Moore. Now, granted, Caleb obviously had a massive, massive night on the show.
Yep.
Eberflus as well. And Colin Johnson, we celebrated because obviously how big he was there. But whenever you talk about two studs on their team, both of them got paid, I do believe.
Yes.
Yeah, I believe both of them have been paid now. That's what I took away from last night's Hard Knocks episode. I know you watched last night.
Yep.
9-year NFL vet Darius J. Butler. Your thoughts on Hard Knocks?
Yeah, obviously, you want to see a head coach. You want to see some of the unknown rookies, making their name for themselves, Caleb. But seeing DJ Moore, Keenan Allen going at it in practice, DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, and Jalen Johnson, who's an absolute dog, one of my favorite corners. It was kind of almost seemed like his episode, kind of getting a glimpse of him. Obviously, we saw some comments he made last week when the top 100 came out. He wasn't on it. Had some comments about Aaron being on it. He definitely should be on, I think, a top 5 corner. But to see how they compete, because some guys, one-on-ones, some guys maybe, okay, this may be the period I go get my wrist tape, I go do something else from a top guy. But to see the top guys compete with each other and obviously take that into the game. Keenan Allen, I know it's probably some editing going on, I don't know, but he's got to start winning some of these reps. He's an absolute dog. DJ Moore, love seeing him getting after it, talking about how he loved football, getting banged up in the game. And obviously Rome, too. Rome had some glimpses in there as well. He should be a top guy, top target this season. I'm excited about these Bears, man. I know Zeke's all zeked up back there. I'm excited about these Bears. Excited to talk to Flus today, but high expectations for the number 1 overall pick in the team this year.
Yeah, absolutely. Caleb Williams is showcasing to be a veteran in every sense of the word here, and I think Keenan had him there, ball in a different place, maybe he has a catch, but this entire segment on Hard Knocks last night was Jalen Johnson beating Keenan Allen.
Yep.
And Keenan actually coming out and saying, I don't think I've got one. I don't think I've got one on him. In to Jalen Johnson, I believe there was like a 5-week stretch there where he had a pick in every single game.
Yeah.
Might have been 4 straight or whatever it is.
He was on everything did be a lot.
Yeah, he was. But he's a 5th-year guy. I hadn't known much about. I do apologize. That's 100% on me for not knowing much about him. Last night watching this Hard Knocks episode, it's like, oh, this is like guy. This is
dog.
Around because Keenan Allen gets open in a phone booth. That is what Keenan Allen is. He's a third down guy. He's always going to be on. He's the guy who gets open.
Yep.
And it's like it was locked down. And normally NFL films on Hard Knocks will try to balance it out.
Right.
So we don't make any enemies here. The balancing out for the pro Keenan Allen film was ball hit him in the arm, and then Jalen Johnson made a toe tap interception. It was like there was no babyface turn for Keenan Allen in this. It was just Jalen Johnson doing his thing. And you mentioned DJ Moore there. And by the way, we know Keenan Allen's a great player.
Great player.
That is
All
not
pro.
He'll have 100 catches.
Bingo. Yeah, we are not saying that. I just say Jalen Johnson. That was phenomenal. Then DJ Moore was spotlighted. You brought up what he said. So there was some news out of practice of the Chicago Bears is that DJ Moore was banged up and limping a little bit after a play along the sideline. They were looking at his right ankle. And then there was a follow-up tweet that was like, excuse me, don't worry about it. He's back on the field. And I think if you watch last night's Hard Knocks, DJ Moore, as a wide receiver that not a lot of people know, whenever he gets paid, remember the conversation wasn't about DJ Moore getting paid in Chicago.
No.
It was like Ayuk needs to get paid here. Tyreek wants a new deal down in Miami.
Yep.
Nobody even really thought about DJ Moore in Chicago. That news comes out of nowhere, massive number. It's like, okay. And then you start reading his stats. It's like, damn, he is a dog. Here's him last night in the middle of a game.
Williams finds DJ Moore. Muscles more. I like football. I like football.
Yeah, so that's what everybody's looking for.
Oh, yeah.
You hear all these coaches and scouts before the combine and the draft, and you ask them, what are you looking for? You're like, I just want somebody who loves football. Okay, especially in this day and age, there's going to be distractions. There's going to be money available in places. There's going to be ways to maybe not be the best professional football player you could be. But if you love football, you'll spend time doing all the other shit. You will spend time watching the film because, once again, you love watching film. You'll spend time in the weight room. Why? Because you know that that'll make you a better football player.
Mm-hmm.
The love of football is something that if you don't have, it will show up at some point. DJ Moore seems to be the guy. And then Jalen Johnson on the other side, it's like, and then Caleb's doing, he looks like a 10-year vet the way he's talking on the sideline. It's like, are the Chicago? And that's what Hard Knocks has done over the years. You watch it,
bingo,
and you start like learning, and you're like fall in love. But last night's episode made me do that for sure with the Chicago Bears.
And DJ Moore, obviously Jalen Johnson, those guys just got paid. So typically a lot of times you see in the NFL, guys have a contract year, they get paid. Maybe they start, not really bringing it. So then bring that intensity. Obviously, every day in training camp with the competes, you see him getting hit in a preseason game. Like, he's obviously played in some big games. And he's been productive, too. In Carolina, he was productive. Last year with Justin Fields, everybody had different opinions about Justin Fields. Obviously, they moved on from DJ Moore had a career year and then, earned himself a new contract as well. You got Rome, obviously a young guy who's going to be learning from DJ Moore and Keenan Allen every day. And then you have a young quarterback like Caleb Williams. You have those guys. And then Cole Kmet should be a weapon as well. You got Swift. So they've done all the right things this offseason.
Oh, Swift on that.
That play was
there's a gear he hits
ridiculous.
that he still has.
Mm-hmm. Still got it.
Yeah, still very much has it. And he's just added into a culture that seemingly was built at the tail end of last year. And remember, they didn't earn the number 1 overall pick.
No.
That was not theirs. That was Carolina Panthers. So you got a team that is not the number 1 overall pick with the number 1 overall pick, getting a guy who is seemingly worthy of a number 1 overall pick.
For sure.
All signs thus far.
Yep.
We shall see. Now, they're worse in the division last year. Well, let's go to Hammer, Dahn. Tone did some research. Tone, what do you have, pal?
Yeah, Pat, the Hard Knocks is giving the Bears fans a lot of hope, okay? And that's what, hope is one of the strongest things you could ever rest your yawnies on, okay?
Yep.
We've talked about that. And there's a lot of hope in the NFL every offseason. That's, why, Pat? Because 19 of the last 21 seasons, a team has gone from worst to first in their division. It being the Houston Texans last year who did it, AFC South, I believe they had 2 wins the year before, and then they won it last year. And that's happened year after year after year after year. So we talk about the draft giving hope, and this gives hope every single year. And you see the 8 teams here that were last in their division last year, and a lot of them, there was injury issues with the Cincinnati Bengals and the LA Chargers. Or a lot of teams were just bad, okay? Panthers, Commanders, Cardinals, Patriots were pretty good, but their offense really, really stunk. Come on. And that list is actually sorted. The Bengals are at top because they are plus 150 to win their division. They are behind the Ravens. And then all the way down to the Patriots, who are plus 2,500 to win their division in the AFC East. And that's probably because the AFC East is a very, very hard division. Why are the Panthers above all those teams? Well, because a lot of people say the NFC South is the least hard of the divisions. And it wouldn't be completely shocking, even though the Panthers were the worst team in the league last year. But there is a good chance, Pat, that at least one of these teams is going to go from worst to first in their division this season.
Okay, I can't wait to see which team it is. Is it the Bears? Huh?
I don't think so, but I think they're going to be good.
Joining us now, ladies and gentlemen, is a man who has cultivated his culture seemingly in the Chicago Bears organization and maybe have the monsters of the Midway all the way back.
Whoa.
Fresh ass haircut, ladies and gentlemen. Head coach of the Chicago Bears, Matty Eberflus.
Yeah.
How's it going, guys?
Hey, I saw on Hard Knocks the story with the barber and the whole thing. Right decision. You feel that way too. You look damn good with the new look Eberflus.
Well, a lot of people are saying I look like you, so I think it's I stole the look off of you, so that's it's a good thing.
Okay. So that means I look good too. So every compliment to Eberflus. Hey, if you could send those anytime you get them to me, that'd be fantastic.
I can see it.
I love the way you are seemingly running your operation up there in Chicago. Is it fair for us to say that at the end of the year, your culture seemingly wasn't like fully implemented, but felt like the entire building was bought into the Eberflus culture? Because that's kind of how we were describing it towards the end of the year, watching your team do what they ended up doing.
Yeah, you look at the end of the year, I really feel that the guys started to buy into it, and it was really important that the guys just really work day in and day out, and that's what it comes down to. What we do on the grass is what matters, and the execution on the grass and how we work through the course of the week, and that really started to pay off in the second half of the year.
So whenever you add Sweat, right? I think that's who you brought in, and then you pay him mightily. I know there was conversations, not by us directly, but on this program and many other programs. It's like, well, whenever you bring somebody in who hasn't done anything for your team and then you pay them, that could potentially, ruffle some feathers around the locker room. Instead, it felt like he paid him and the entire team, like he became one of the pillars of your team. Do you feel that? And was that a massive move to get to where you guys are now?
Yeah, it was a massive move, and Ryan did a wonderful job with that whole situation, and really he bought into us in the way we work, right away. We're all about respecting each other, working hard, and doing our work, and really buying into the partnership you have with your teammates. And he did a wonderful job with that, and he worked his tail off and had his best year of his career when he came to us, and guys were excited for him. He was very encouraging to other players as he went about his business, and so I think he really fostered those relationships as he went, and it kind of built upon itself.
Every time we zoom out, you have an incredibly great backdrop, first of all. I don't know who did the lighting. Phenomenal stuff.
Wow.
I mean, absolutely. This is 10 out of 10 backdrop right here. This is Damian Woody during COVID.
Yep.
Backdrop type stuff
High
here.
praise.
But then up in the top left corner, there's a PTZ just sitting on one of your shelves right there. And for those that don't know, that's a pan, tilt, zoom camera, okay? That is controlled by somebody somewhere else. They have an actual joystick where they are that they can control where that's headed, where that's looking. That's NFL Films, obviously with Hard Knocks. What I've learned about your team through this Hard Knocks is like, wait a minute, I'm all in. Jalen, all your stars seemingly are the type of dudes that you want in your program. That DJ Moore, I like football. Do you watch Hard Knocks? Did you know he said that immediately after getting hit? Jalen Johnson, Keenan Allen, the way they're interacting, are you watching Hard Knocks and seeing that, or do you get to experience that on a day-to-day? It feels like your culture is one of loving football and hard work. And are you watching Hard Knocks, and are you proud of it with how it's turning out?
Yeah, we wanted to just be authentic, in the process. And I told the guys once the announcement came that we were going to have Hard Knocks, I just said, guys, be authentic, be yourself. I said, we're already doing the things the right way. We respect each other. We work hard. We got great relationships in the building, and we honor that. And just be yourself, and that's going to be good enough. And the guys have really just done that. No one's done anything. They're playing up the cameras and all those types of things. We're really focused on our work, and our work is getting ready for the first game. And I think we're 25 days away from it right now. So, we got every day's got to count. We got to make them, and improve every single day. We got a big day tomorrow with Cincinnati joint practice. So that's what our focus is.
Yeah, well, it feels like, I don't know how much of it you get to see or how much you get to say of it. You can tell your culture's there, and it feels like a locker room that I would want to be. Like, I think that's like maybe the biggest compliment you can give.
Definitely.
As former player watching Hard Knocks, it's like that feels like a place that I would want to play in a team that I would want to play alongside of from my version of watching Hard Knocks thus far. Go ahead, AJ.
Coach, I don't know if you ever saw the show The Real World back in the day where they would, plant these cameras in there. And a lot of the people, The Miz, a great wrestler who was in there back in the day, said like, sometimes eventually they forget the cameras are there. Are you at that point? Are your players at that point? Or do you ever say anything and you're like, oh, man, they're definitely going to use that next Tuesday? Like, is this something that you're still on your mind daily?
No, I really don't. I think Hard Knocks does a wonderful job of really staying, in the background and letting us do our business. And I think they've done a wonderful job so far. And we have the ability to edit, some things if we want to. And that's been a seamless process. We have Ted Cruz in here who's part of our PR department, does a wonderful job with us. And, so it's been pretty seamless there.
Man, Ted Cruz hates us.
Ted Cruz.
Oh, buddy.
Big time. Both of them.
Formerly, well...
Yeah.
Not Texas Ted Cruz.
Excuse me.
PR Ted Cruz is who
Okay.
we were talking. I completely forgot about the other Ted Cruz. He's got a beard, I see.
Yeah.
That is the.
He's working PR now.
That's the okay. He's formerly Kansas City, right? Then he's at Chicago. A lot of NFL experience. And whenever I say he hates us, that's not true. He's just like he is a guardian of the ship.
Yes.
Like he's been around NFL a long time. And the fact that NFL Films is so good at what they do, we don't need to give out any strategy stuff. We don't need to ruin any moments. But I'll tell you, last night, they made a couple superstars in Jalen Johnson, DJ Moore, and that quarterback of yours seemingly is the right one. D-Buck got a question for you, Coach.
Yes, it was a lot of shit surrounding Caleb Williams when he was in college, but I know from the outside looking in, I've just absolutely loved everything I've seen, especially with Hard Knocks and behind the scenes. Saw you sitting with him, kind of going over the refs with him, see him in team meetings. Just seems like a seasoned vet, even watching him on the field. Has there been anything that has surprised you so far about Caleb Williams and working with him?
Yeah, it's been a pleasure to work with him all the way from the pro day at USC until now. And what I've noticed about him is that he accepts all challenges, and we've been challenging him in terms of learning the offense and leveling up every single chance over the summer, every single week that we've been in training camp now, and he's accepted those challenges, and he's improving every single day. And now I can start to see him building the relationships and really the continuity inside the offense as he learns and starting to get more feel for the receivers, more feel for the offense, and he's starting to really take a hold of that leadership role.
What I saw last night with him talking to Rome Odunze, his first preseason game. So normally, I think a fair way of judging a rookie quarterback in first preseason is, do they look comfortable? Mm-hmm. Can they handle the offense, the call, the huddle, the snap? Is there a couple completions? And then obviously he did what he did on the field. But then Hard Knocks showed us him talking to Rome Odunze like, hey, when you run that, I want you to do this. It's like, this is his first year in that offense too. That's like a 10-year vet quarterback. Like Aaron Rodgers, Garrett Wilson were having that conversation, I think, last week on the internet. Everybody was talking about it. It's like Caleb's already having those convos, and then it came out that he was telling the boys, clean up the locker room. And it's like, is this a 40-year-old man? Is this a 40-year-old man in there?
Yeah, I would say that he's very mature for his age, and I think the experiences that he's had, in football, with the NIL and winning the Heisman and having a lot of that attention really has helped him, to prepare for this moment, to be a starting quarterback, the first pick in the draft, and where he is right now. He's always going to be where his feet is. He's very comfortable in his own skin, and he's very confident in his abilities. And again, we got to play well around him. Receiving core, the protection, the tight ends, the runners, the defense, the special teams. This guy is a rookie, and we got to play well around him to make his job easier because he's got the hardest job in the world, which is playing NFL quarterback. So we understand that as a group, and we're doing everything we can to support him.
Hell yeah, and we appreciate that. And I think we've all acknowledged that too, even before the draft and before the pro days, because there was some conversation by some people in the media, which is always going to happen every single draft. It's like, this is the worst spot that Caleb Williams, a once-in-a-generation guy, can go. You heard it. We asked Poles if he heard it. He said he did hear that as well. But then once you start looking into it, it's like investment in weapons, running back, proven, offensive line, defense, very, very good. It's like, this is almost like maybe the greatest position a number one overall quarterback has been dropped into in some time. Now, I have not done the research on who else has done it, but the way you guys have built that team seemingly is set up for success. Now, speaking of being set up for success, you got to do good due diligence. And we seen you with a new haircut doing some of that on Hard Knocks. Go ahead, Ty.
Yeah, Coach, we also saw you sit down with Nick Saban, and, you guys were kind of just talking about different things with Caleb Williams. Obviously, you played for him at Toledo. How heavily do you lean on him for advice? And also, how much has your relationship changed with him? Because he seems like the kind of guy who, even though you're a full-grown adult now, it's still kind of like, hey, you're his player and he's your coach. So do you lean on him a bunch? And how has you guys' relationship changed over the course of the last 30 years?
Yeah, it's been great. Coach Saban's been one of my mentors, and I have a few really good ones. Guys that are in the College Hall of Fame, like Gary Pinkel and Coach Marinelli, Coach Kiffin, all those guys that I was with. And Coach Saban is definitely up there, a guy that I've stayed in touch with, and I lean on him heavily for a lot of things because he is a defensive-minded head coach, and he's worked with quarterbacks over the course of his career. And I was really just trying to get him to come up here. Once he retired, I said, "Hey, Coach, anytime you want to come up and visit, come on in." And he had a speaking engagement up here, and he stopped by for like 3 hours, and we had that talk, and it was really good to glean that information from him in person, talking about Tua and Jalen and different things, and how he worked with those quarterbacks, and really helped him along in terms of development. It's going to be about the development phase of Caleb Williams learning through performance and through experience. Every chance he gets, and we got a lot of these competitive reps against our one defense. We got competitive reps tomorrow against Cincinnati in the joint practice. In these games coming up, and he has to level up and get better just by learning through the performance and the experience every single chance he gets. And I think that with the offensive coordinator, we have Shane Waldron and myself giving him a dual education in terms of, hey, this is how we operate in the offense, but also, hey, this is what the rules for the defensive players are, and this is how we can scheme against these things, is really going to fast forward his education process, I believe, in a really quick manner.
They talk about that with Tom Brady and Bill Belichick as being one of the biggest weapons. Is every Monday he would sit down with Bill. Bill would break down the defensive coordinator, where the defensive coordinator came from, what the entire scheme is kind of prefaced off of. And then Tom Brady, obviously on the offensive side, was doing his thing with McDaniels and all the boys over there, but then he was also learning defense. And we got Caleb Williams doing the TB12 thing already. Whoa. Uh-oh. I know you have something here in a matter of moments, but we have one last question. Obviously, it's a big talking point around the entire NFL. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, Coach, biggest adjustment right now for this season, obviously, is the new kickoff and kick return. Have you been looking around the league and trying to pull ideas from other guys and seeing what other teams are doing, or do you feel comfortable at your guys' strategy and kind of where you're at with it and just hoping that shit doesn't hit the fan and you get one of those phantom safeties?
Yeah, I believe that we're on point in terms of where we are right now, in terms of the research and what we've done so far. But again, it's kind of an unknown so far of what exactly is going to happen in terms of the scheme and scheming up on the kickoff return side of it and also the kickoff phase of it. So I believe we're in a good spot. I believe in our process. I really believe in our special teams coach, Richard Hightower, and myself. And his assistants are working diligently to get that. We've added more periods during the course of this training camp so we could take a look full speed, and really in pads. To be able to see how you take on these blocks, how you block these players that are so close to you. And I think it's going to be interesting to see how it develops during the course of the season.
Coach, I don't want to get too much info off you. Two quick things follow up. 30-yard line being the touchback. Are people just going to kick it into the end zone still like they did last year? And are we going to see more scrapers, you think, like a linebacker type coverage where, more layers to the kickoff coverage as opposed to just one flat line? What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I believe we'll see both those things. I really do, Pat. I really think that with depending on the returner, who you have back there, I think I may see some more kickouts, touchbacks. But I also believe that you're going to see a lot of scheme try, with crossing and having guys live, pulling the guys out, in terms of who's the safeties and all those things that we've typically done. But I do think we'll scheme up some things on the kickoff for sure.
All right. I can't wait to watch. We appreciate you. Have a great rest of training camp and continue being a Hard Knocks superstar. Oh. Tell your barber we said what's up. And maybe I need a cut. Might be able to help me out. Ladies and gentlemen, head coach of the Chicago Bears, Matt Eberflus. Thank you, buddy.